Hello everybody and welcome to Club Live here on Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. We are live on YouTube tonight at the slightly later time of 8 p.m, but that is all my doing, dad duties, all the stuff that kind of goes along with that. So it is my fault that we are a little bit late, but I'm sure it'll be worth the wait, and I have been buzzing to come on and do this podcast, which is a first in a long time, I think. First in a long time to come on and speak about Rangers. So very much looking forward to getting into things. I am Scott Carney. Joining me tonight is, of course, Alistair Pearson. Ali, how are you, mate? Your slogan that you've been saying to Justin Muir on this podcast for I don't know how long has brought us the fortunes of the Stars and the Stripes.
Yes, God bless America. They must have been watching our podcast for the past 4 years, Carney, saying to Justin, and God bless America. So, yeah, it's weird when you think about it, Carney. We're going to get into it, but from our podcast on Tuesday night, the negativity about it, will Patrick Stewart come out, things like that. What a turnaround in the last kind of 48 hours in terms of Rangers. Big news, but obviously we'll get into it.
Yes, we will get into it very much so, and it's such a welcomed change to proceedings of how we felt as Rangers fans really over this season, and a real shot in the arm for us. It really is, and I'm here for it. And Ross McLean is joining us. Ross, how are you?
Good evening, mate. Good evening. What a buzz! What a buzz! Just this week, as a Rangers fan, I'm so glad to see the chat is feeling likewise, that we're all just a wee bit joke. You know, I can't resist the hat's going on. The hat is going on, but just the jubilation this week is incredible, and long may it continue. So yes, good evening everybody, and let's get right into it.
Yes, let's get right into it. Yeah, I have been still adjusting to new life in terms of having two little humans to look after. Still feeling sleep deprivation, but it's nothing that a bit of Bruce Springsteen won't sort out, let me tell you that. There is only one place to start. Before we do start, hello chat, good to see everybody. I'm sure everybody's got many buzzies, a good feeling about everything, that's the way things are happening just now. I'm not seeing much negativity really surrounding the biggest news that we are going to talk about this evening. But to get involved in the chat, please do subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel, then you can get involved in the live chat. So please do so. Help us make a push to 7,000 subscribers. We are not far off that at all. So please get involved in that. And yeah, look, there is only one place to start. That is the news that broke during the week that Rangers are close to agreeing a deal with 49ers Enterprises. To sell the club, to basically for them to take over the football club. Now, in case you've been living under a rock for a little while, I will just read a little bit about the whole kind of scenario. So yeah, the San Francisco 49ers, through their investment arm 49ers Enterprises, are reported leading a takeover bid for Scottish football club Rangers. The 49 Enterprises, the guy heading it is also the chairman of Leeds United, and he is reportedly leading the effort. Rangers obviously have declined to comment, but this is obviously all getting done behind closed doors, as you would expect. It's a confidentiality thing, but numerous reports suggest that negotiations are in an advanced stage, and a deal could be finalised in as soon as towards the end of the season, and maybe even before. I've seen some reports saying even the end of April. The exact percentage hasn't obviously officially been disclosed, but reports suggest that the 49ers Enterprise are looking to acquire more than 50% of Rangers shares, and that would give them a majority stake in the club and allow them to take control. Several sources indicate that current shareholders are willing to sell all or part of their holdings, which would enable 49er Enterprises to achieve their target. The 49 Enterprises themselves is an investment arm of the San Francisco 49ers, the American football team that competes in the NFL. It's essentially a vehicle to make investments and pursue business ventures outside of the core NFL operations. The major investments that they usually look into is investment in sports franchises, real estate development and technology investments, but essentially the 49er Enterprises is a way for the 49ers ownership group to grow their business interests beyond the NFL and capitalise on various opportunities in various sectors. Ali, this is kind of out the blue. I'm not going to lie, that it came out of nowhere. I don't think many were expecting this it's also led to, I mean, a lot of things that we've seen happening over the course of this season with the club that you would maybe be questioning about what was going on, and the numerous podcasts that we've done about the question of the running of the club. This has clearly been going on for some time. This is not something that's been happened literally overnight. But just initially, before we get into what we think maybe this means for Rangers going forward, etc., what's your initial feeling on this? What was your gut feeling when you seen it, apart from putting on Born in USA up to volume 11?
Yeah, came out the blue. It's been very doom and gloom for Rangers this season. This came out the blue, but then people come out and backed it up. The people that would come out and poo-poo stories previously with Rangers in terms of if a story wasn't true, the club would feed certain people who would come out and go, "This isn't true," and it would rain all over our party.
Well, we were waiting for Chris Jack, weren't we?
Yes. Well, we're talking about him, and he came out and rubber stamped it to say, no, this is true. And then it's run on several press lines. So it must be true. It must be quite far down the line, or as far as we're aware. I mean, we don't know the ins and outs of it. We're just going from what we're reading, but the ins and outs of it is far down the road at the moment. It's not at the final stages, but it's not far away. It's massive. It's huge. We've been stagnating as a club, Carney, for years. Probably after we won the league under Gerrard, and we've sat still. The guys that look after Rangers at the moment, the shareholders that have done well for Rangers, have Rangers at heart, but they can't take Rangers to the next level. And we've been looking for something different. I actually listened to Stevie Clifford, and he said it's like a shot in the arm for Rangers, which I agreed. And it's got a bit of buzz back about us as fans now. I mean, it's not rubber stamped or anything yet, but it's something Rangers are crying out for. Even if this didn't happen, I think something will happen down the line in terms of Rangers getting sold. But it's huge, Carney. It's huge for us moving forward. Rangers are a massive club, worldwide they are. I mean, this mob aren't coming in giving us money and not getting anything out of it. They run businesses. They're there to make money. But as a fan looking at it, I got excited because and I've got the right to get excited because this season has been utterly doom and gloom. And you look at this and you look about we've got 49ers involved with Leeds, and you look at other clubs around the world, Man City group, that the group they're in, etc. And it's exciting times if it comes off, Carney. And yeah, I mean, it could lead to really exciting things for Rangers, and it's where Rangers should be. Rangers are a big team. I know we're in a small pond, but we're a massive team, Rangers. So it's out the blue, but it was an exciting thing to read, and I hope it gets over the line. But it looks like it could, Carney. It really does.
The way that it's been reported now, mate, it does look like that it's imminent. It looks like it will happen. It looks like it's a case of just joining things together that need to be done. Obviously, they'll have to negotiate with a number of stakeholders that already exist within the club in order to take the control that they wish. But Ross, it's probably an opportunity I didn't expect Rangers to get. It's probably something that I didn't see coming, really. I think we romanticise about a multi-billionaire coming in who's got money to waste, who's got Rangers at heart. He's Rangers through and through, a self-made Glaswegian billionaire businessman to come in and just pump money into the club and not expect anything really back. Realistically, that's never going to happen. The days of that are under football, in football have moved on. What I think this takeover is, or what it looks like it will be to me, it will move Rangers to a modern football club, to a properly modern football club. And I think really it's probably time that we do agree that we need to move on. I think it's fair to say that the current investors, the current stakeholders have taken it as far as we can, because as Ali mentioned, we have stagnated as a football club and we've been going one step forward, two steps back far, far too often. But again, before we go into full details, and I said, yeah, you can tell that I have this has been pent up. We didn't do a breaking news pod or anything, so it's been one of those things that I've been waiting to get on this podcast to let myself go on things. But what's your initial thoughts on this as the young gun on this podcast? What's your initial thoughts on this potential imminent takeover, really?
As a wise Winston Ingram said, we are in the money. We are in the money. It's this is huge, lad. This is absolutely huge. I was speaking to you before we went on air, mate. Being honest, the whole kind of ins and outs of it, it's still very raw. Like, I don't know the whole kind of story behind it. But at the end of the day, you see, the money that they got at Leeds. I was doing a wee bit of reading before. There was Leeds was £170 million takeover altogether. There's the money in America. You look at just America by itself. The money, it's ridiculous out there. So the fact that could be getting involved with our club is quite incredible. I didn't realise that the kind of the guy who seems to be running it, Prag Marati, I believe is.
I'm glad you said it, mate, because I was never going to try and attempt that guy's name. I really wasn't. So I'm glad you attempted it.
I hope it is Prag Marati. I'm pretty sure it is. He was seen at Old Trafford for the Man U Rangers game, so he was sat with the kind of Rangers directors. So you wonder if that's maybe something that's just happened behind the scenes, and now it's starting to come out. So it is very exciting, mate. Very exciting indeed. And yes, there's American flags need to be ordered. I'll make sure to get something in the background. But yeah, that's what I think of a Rangers fan, and much needed as well. As Ali said, Rangers are massive. It's almost as much as it is unexpected. You would expect somebody to look at a club like Rangers and go, "Yep, we can buy into that," because you look at the fans, you look at the history. Rangers, they deserve is maybe not the right word, but there's reasoning for why they pick a team like Rangers. And should it come to fruition, it's for our club massive, mate. So very, very exciting indeed.
Yeah, very exciting. As you say, when I initially seen it, obviously I thought, wow, amazing. We're going to be as big as an NFL club and we're going to pay Nico Raskin 50 million quid a year or whatever they get paid, because I know it's ludicrous money, but no, once you settle down, you read in between things, you kind of have to see it for what it is. And say the biggest pro for me just now is the fact that yes, okay, they'll be coming here to change the way that things are running. Thank you very much, Kevin Stewart, for the super sticker. Very much appreciated. Thank you, mate. That's very nice of you. But they'll be coming here to change the way this football club is run, and that probably is the biggest thing that I'm most excited about. Yes, it will change how the money goes out of the club. It won't just be a case of, as you say, they're not coming here to take on the debt and not make that money back. They will be coming to make money, but to make money, yes, commercially, they'll probably do quite a lot in terms of what they can do in America and etc. And things will grow from there. But ultimately, we need to be successful in the football club and the football pitch even. And that's what I want. That's all that I want. I want my club to be successful. Ali, it wouldn't be a big news day or a big news week even without Dave King obviously coming out and releasing a statement through Chris Jack, which he has done. Briefly, if anybody that hasn't seen it, the article was about Dave King's legacy at Rangers, basically, and it discusses his wish for the takeover by the 49ers Enterprises to be his Rangers legacy as he prepares to sell his major shareholding at Ibrox. It discusses the 49ers takeover and the changes that it will bring to Rangers. Some of the important points were that Dave King will sell his stake, and the takeovers to be expected rumoured around about 100 million, and obviously it will bring pretty sweeping changes to Rangers. In terms of a legacy, Ali, obviously we do have to accept that things are going to be very different. We have to accept that it won't be what we are used to seeing. However, with that, I think we don't want to. Scottish football in itself in the league is in the dark ages. There's only 2 teams in Scotland that would be worth this sort of interest, if you like, from this size of group. Rangers are the ones that are looking the most likely to have that takeover. What are the pros and cons for you? There is going to be, as I say, it will be major changes. I don't think there's any doubt. I think from the rumours that I heard, the chairman would remain, the reports that I heard, the chairman would remain, the CEO would remain, and potentially one other board member would remain. After that, everything would go. It would all be different faces on the board. What's the pros? Is there any pros? Is there any massive pros for you? Any massive cons? Is there anything that concerns you about the deal? What's your digging a little bit deeper into what you think it might mean for Rangers? What's your thoughts?
I think the pros will outweigh the cons if you look at it. It brings fresh investment into the club, different ideas, the commercial aspect of bringing money into the club is massive in terms of who we're dealing with here worldwide and stuff. It's more pros for me. I mean, these guys aren't going to come in. Somebody made a point in the chat there. I mean, financial fair play is there, so they can't come in and give us Rangers a ridiculous amount of money to spend in the transfer market on players and wages, because they can't do it because of financial fair play. But
well, even on that, before we go any further, Rangers have been under financial fair play for a long time. We have not been close to the limit that they put in place. So there is still definitely room for investment in the squad. There is absolutely no doubt.
Oh, there definitely is. I'm just saying there's not going to be guys like
Ronaldo,
like Messi and Ronaldo.
I know. That's not going to happen.
Folk that may think that.
I don't think we're going to be up to our knees in EBTs again, mate. Put it that way. No.
But it makes us be able to compete again for me domestically, and the cons. I don't know what real cons there are. I mean, there's always cons to stuff, to be honest. Guys coming in from the outside. I mean, we've had historically, kind of in the last few years, Rangers men running Rangers, and these guys haven't got an allegiance to Rangers coming in, but we've seen the last few years what's happened. I mean, these guys have done well for Rangers, but they don't have the power to take us to the next level or become as you say, kind of like a modern day football club. This is a group that know what they're doing, a consortium that will come in and shake Rangers up. They'll change quite a lot of stuff probably. I know they run in terms of the 49s. I think they use data quite a lot of the time in terms of them, so they'll bring that into Rangers too. For me, it's positives. It's positives. I don't see many negatives. It's difficult because we don't know the complete ins and outs of it in terms of the finances and stuff and what's going to happen. But yeah, it's huge for me if they come in, because it just they can do so much. You talk about expanding Ibrox, which we've talked about for donkeys. Never had the finances. You look across the other side of the city, they've got 10,000 seats more than us, so they've got 10,000 fans ahead of us every season in terms of income. That's potentially more income we can look at. So there's so many avenues Rangers can go down to secure income into the club, and these guys will look at Rangers as we'll be looking at Rangers as making money. Rangers can potentially get into the Champions League every year, which a lot of teams can't. There's money to be made there. The player trading model. I mean, look at Celtic. Celtic are very cash rich. Celtic have got reportedly 70, 80 million pound in the bank. These guys will be looking at Celtic going, let's get Rangers in that financial state. So it's more pros for me, Carney. I don't see many cons, but I don't know the ins and outs of it properly because that isn't my background, unfortunately.
No, and neither it's mine, mate. As I say, we've said numerous times on this podcast, mate, we're very much layman's football fans. I am a Rangers fan. That is it. I tend to only really watch Rangers games. There's the odd other big game that I will watch. I call myself a very ignorant football fan in that regard, because it really is all about Rangers for me, and it always has been. But I agree with you. I think there's a lot more pros to it than there is cons. I think there will be a bit of acceptance required by a lot of Rangers fans about the changes that will be made. I think some of the cons that I could put forward, it's maybe not a con, but I'm, as you say, a self-confessed Rangers dad in terms of tradition and heritage in terms of the football club. For example, I don't want it to be called the Red Bull Ibrox Stadium or anything ridiculous like that, but there is real possibility that could happen because they'll look to maximise it. I think every stadium in the NFL has a sponsor in front of it. I'm pretty sure that's the case. That'll be called, I don't know, whatever, the Hershey's Chocolate Stadium. I don't know, even have a clue what it's called. But I don't follow the NFL, but I do believe that they all have sponsor names. So things like that, I'm a wee bit like iffy. But if we're getting this Champions League every year and we're getting consistent success in domestic football, is that a sacrifice I'll take? I probably will. Yes, I'll openly admit that. I want success. I want consistent success again back in the football club. And if anything, this is just a platform. It's a it's a bit of security is maybe the wrong word, but it's a fresh injection of something new. It is something that's going to be completely different. And I, for one, I'm sick of seeing this constant loop that we are seeing Rangers in just now. It's time to break the mould. It's time to change the ending to the particular movie that we watch every season. So if this is the way that it's got to happen, then fair enough. Ross, I think it's interesting that Dave King has obviously come out and he's kind of led the charge on this. Dave King holds the kind of most shares within Rangers, so he's the one that's the kind of top of the shareholders, if you like, or towards the top. I don't know if he's actually outright top, but anyway, he's obviously quite keen on this. He's done his homework on this. He mentioned investor fatigue. This is obviously all wee snippets he was dropping in and the work that he was clearly doing in the background. If it's okay for him, genuinely, and Dave King irritates me, don't get me wrong, there's some things that Dave King says that he's always got to come out at the wrong times and say things. However, this is probably one of the right times that he's come out and made a chat. But if he's doing his due diligence on this and he wants this to be his legacy, knowing Dave King the way that I think I know Dave King, then you've got to take him on his word here that this can only be a good thing for Rangers. I do believe there's going to be massive changes, yes, but if he's given it the kind of rubber seal of approval, then we've got to take him on his word for that.
Yeah, no, we do, mate. We do. It's Dave King. Any of the investors, we always have to kind of caveat it with. I can never thank everybody enough in the board who've put their money into the club and have put us into the financial positions that we're in. But all things come to an end, I guess, if you look at it that way. Dave King being the kind of the main shareholder at Ibrox, but eventually it's going to change. And if this is a way that we're going to change it, then it's some way to go. Obviously, you use the word legacy. That's what you're leaving. If we are going to this kind of major, I guess, kind of ownership, then that's I couldn't ask for much more as a Rangers fan. Even when you're rhyming it off, mate, it's exciting to me. That's all I can ask for as a fan. So it is very exciting. The kind of when you speak about the kind of the pros and cons. Initially, when I first heard it, and when I was walking about today, I was thinking about obviously you do hope it doesn't kind of get Rangers too over commercialised, but then you think of the kind of the clubs like your Leeds, your Newcastles, and the kind of foundations of the club they're still very much what they were. You look at Ellen Road, nothing really much has changed. St James's Park, it's all still very traditional. So I don't feel that as much. That was kind of probably the only thing that I was maybe, how would that fare? But I do think that I can't see if anything's happened to Ibrox, it's getting bigger. That's you're not going to change the foundations or you're not going to change the structure. But yeah, for me it's pros all around, and just. I can't wipe the smile off my face. I don't know what's going on. I feel like I'm not a Rangers fan because all we've been doing is talking rather negatively. So it's a rather nice change. It is very nice. But yes, very exciting. But I'd love to kind of just see what the details are in the next few months.
Ali, I know you put it up there and it's disappeared. Somebody did mention, I don't even know who it was because you've kind of flashed on, flashed down again, that it won't be success overnight. No, it definitely won't be. I think people that think that it will be, Malky, it won't be like that. It isn't going to be like that. It's not going to be, they're coming in and it's like a kind of financial takeover on Football Manager where you can just go and spend 50 odd million on players and stuff. It won't be like that. They will be savvy with their money. They will be savvy with where the spend is going. They will be thorough with their approval of said money going X, Y, and Z. They will know everything about where it's going, and that again is another thing that's exciting for me, is the fact that we will have a fine-tooth comb run over pretty much everything. They'll know exactly what's getting invested into where and into who. And it's going to be a change of our football club. The thing about not having Rangers men on the board, etc. I get that. I do understand that, but we can't just hope that there's going to be someone that comes along somewhere and goes, by the way, I am this multi-million Rangers fan forever, whatever, and I'm going to just take over the club. You can always have advisors. You can always have people that are on the board. You can have people that represent. You've got people like John Gregg Souness, whoever you may like to bring in as an advisor to say, look, is this a good idea? Would Rangers fans be on board with this? For example, not to have an Australian Cup disaster again, nothing like that. You want something. There will be that. That's what I mean. There is going to be people that will do that. So for me, I'm not overly worried about that. These guys knows how to run businesses. You just have to look at what they've done, honestly, and you can see that they know how to spend their money. They know how to spend their money. And both Ali and Ross have mentioned it. If there was ever a time to think that Ibrox was going to be expanded, for all these people that have called for it for so many years, I would definitely say it's on the cards. If this happens, I would say that they will look to get to maximise as much as they can to get to even equal par with how many seats Parkhead has, or slightly more. And known Americans, it will probably be slightly more because they'll not want to be beat on that, which is exciting for me. I think we've all said for years the corners should just be full of seats. It shouldn't be. There's no need for the big screens, really. I don't think anybody really thinks that they're much use. So yeah, it's exciting times. It really is exciting for me. There's not many things that are kind of holding me back on it. Yes, it might take time, but this could be the avenue that leads us out. An American revolution, if you like, happening throughout Rangers, and I'm all aboard for it. I really am all aboard. I think it's great. Obviously, there is fine details to come out, and it will come out in the wash. There's going to be much more educated people than us three, no disrespect, lads, that will be able to come out and tell us exactly what this deal means and what they're going to do, etc., yada, yada. But we'll be sure here to bring reaction to it. I'm pretty sure we'll be smiling about it, I'm not going to lie. Ali, before we go any further, I think domestic success is probably what we all want, but it's the bread and butter. But this, for me, they're not coming to just solely let Rangers just be successful domestically. This will be a look at Europe. This will be, right, we need to get Rangers, especially with the new structure. You've seen what it's happened and how it's happened and how teams have progressed, including Celtic for that matter, how they've progressed in that competition and the kind of windfall of money that will come that way. There's only more and more money getting put into the Champions League the way things stand. So that another thing for me, mate, when I'm thinking this could be proper Champions League. And it could be, I'm caveat that, could be proper Champions League nights coming back to Rangers, and if you can't get excited about that, then I mean, come on.
Yeah, and that's where the money is. But to get there, they need to win the league in Scotland, which is what we want. Europe is a sideshow for us, but they need to win the league in Scotland to get in the Champions League. I know you can, via second place, you can get there through another route as well, but yeah, they'll need to win the league in Scotland, which is what we crave as Rangers fans, the bread and butter. That's what we want. We want the bragging rights back as Rangers fans, how we've grown up, Carney. And then eventually, as you say, they'll want to go into Champions League. The new format suits smaller clubs, if you want to say, or big clubs and small leagues. You look at some clubs that are punching above their weight. In fact, one of Clawant's old clubs, Club Brugge is a good example, who's punching above their weight in the Champions League. It suited them. Even Celtic this year, the format suited them. And you can see the money they've made in the Champions League this year. I know they've been put out, but they've made a lot of money in that Champions League, way more than what we were going to earn in that Europa League.
Yeah.
So that's where you want to be. You want to be at the top table, and you want to be competing there. And they'll look at that and go, Rangers is a good vehicle to be at the top table because we can get there. We've got the fans, we've got the stadium, we've got everything that's there. Just not the players in the park, unfortunately, at the moment. But that'll be down to them. And
the manager.
Yeah, well, that's another discussion. Do they?
We're coming to that. Don't worry.
Yeah,
we're coming to that.
So yeah, it's there for them, and Rangers is a vehicle to make money. As I say, look across the other side of the city, cash rich. So, as I said, they will be looking at that. They've done it well, Celtic. You have to give them credit. They have done it well over the years. They've got their player trade model spot on. They've been in the Champions League for several years. We've not helped ourselves in that, let's be honest about it. But they will look at that and go, yeah, there's money to be made here. So, yes, Champions League nights would be marvellous to have that back again.
Yeah. Is your fridge now full of Coors Lights?
Aye, and Bud Lights, aye.
Bud Lights. Oh, it's Bud Lights, isn't it? Yeah. I thought it might be. Look, Ross, we'll move on to kind of speak about Patrick Stewart's interview that came out, and it all kind of ties in now. This, obviously, in hindsight, now that you know that this potential takeover deal is happening, you can kind of not understand, because I think we all agree again, reiterating it, sorry to be negative, everybody, Philip Clement should not be Rangers manager. But you can kind of see why the investment was maybe not there in January, because the stakeholders are going, there's not really much point in us putting much money in here because this looks like it's going somewhere. Again, Clement not getting sacked, as I view it, looking at probably he's going to go in the summer should this potential deal go through. I would like to think that will be the case. These people are going to want to bring their own staff in, their own members in. So you would like to think that there's a look at the future for that. You have your say on that, of course, but also he mentioned the appointment of the sporting director, which is probably the main take. The fact is that Clement isn't getting sacked and there's a sporting director coming in. Again, this is all, and even Patrick Stewart being here, I'd reckon he took this job knowing fine well that there was something in the pipeline, that there was something happening in the background in terms of a potential takeover happening at Rangers. But the appointment of a sporting director, I think, is pretty welcomed. I think it's something that we need. I, for one, used to go on about when we had the director of football role in place, where I was going, we don't really need that. It's in Scotland, etc., yada, yada. I think it's been proven that I was wrong in that regard, and we very much do need the same kind of structure, if you like. I know it's different naming terms for different bits and whatever else now, but the appointment of a sporting director. So, yeah, well, obviously, Ross, Clement's not getting sacked because this investment was happening. That's my take on it anyway. You can have your say. And also the appointment of a sporting director that has not got a timeline on it, but I would imagine it's the summer.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Yeah, I think you're spot on. Like we're saying, we do want to kind of take that next step as Rangers. What's going to get us to that modern club, that next big thing, and the roles that Patrick Stewart's rhyming off is going to get us there. Having folk who aren't doing 5 jobs, who people like Neil Coppin who can do just the 4 jobs instead of the 7, whatever. There's a bit of potential, I don't know, flexibility for people, and there's it's just overall strengthening our club. So it is brilliant. It's, for me, I might be a bit of an unpopular opinion. I actually took the interview quite well. I thought, it was fair play to him to come out. I think he had to come out, 100% he had to come out one way or another. But I do in a way kind of get where he's coming from. The last few seasons, sacking managers hasn't worked. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Clement's the guy, but it's more when he comes in, fresh off the bat, it's very. Some would maybe use that as a stick to hit him with, that he's making the same mistakes as others. So I do understand that he's maybe trying something new. Again, as I'll reiterate and saying, I don't think Clement's the guy for us. But it does kind of start to make a wee bit of sense, mate. Patrick Stewart's not daft. He was at Man U for a reason. A club of that stature, he'll have good kind of knowledge of hopefully what's going to take us in the right direction. So I'm backing the guy. I do hope that ultimately, as you say, mate, earlier on the show, it's about making sure that on the pitches where the success is, that's all we can ask for. So if that's the strategy that he sees, then brilliant. And yeah, I think one thing that I do agree with, get the right guy. I understand that we want them in, get them in as soon as possible, but please just get the guy who won't be sacked in a few months. We want some sustainability at the club. So yeah, I did take the interview quite well, mate. But yeah, Clement's going to be here. Unfortunately, there's not really much we can say or do. We'll just need to put up with it for just now. But when we win the Europa League, it won't matter. It will not matter.
Well, I'll be honest, when I first heard the interview, as you'll know by the voice note that I sent to the chat, I was less than impressed with what Patrick Stewart had come out and say. I was like, really? Was that where we're at? But Alex, weird, I've kind of forgot about it, considering what's happened the rest of this week. I've really not thought about it too much. But no, seriously, mate, what did you take from Patrick Stewart's interview? Are you in the same pragmatic view of mine that these changes haven't been made because all of this was in the background? It's kind of superseded everything, really.
Yeah, they know what they're doing here, Rangers. They'll drop a video, and then 24 hours later, they know that the big news is coming, and we'll completely forget what Patrick Stewart said. So they're no daft. He was never going to come out, Patrick Stewart, and light fires to everything and agree with us and say if Clement gets sacked and everything. If you actually sit down and listen to him, I mean, it's Rangers TV answering the questions, so it's already been pre-planned before he sat down in terms of what questions he's answering, etc. But he answered the Queen's Park question. He basically said what we've all said in terms of it was a disaster for Rangers. In terms of Clement, the reason he's keeping them there, which he did kind of say to, I know Ross said about sack managers, he mentioned that, but he also said in terms of the European run Clement's went on, he kind of owes him a shot, I think, because he's done well there. Which is a
He
bit
kind
of
of
a
hid behind it a little bit.
yeah,
Didn't he?
well, for me,
Behind it
that's a
little
bit of a get out of jail card for him to use. So. And then the sporting director, I agree with it. I get a guy to oversee the whole club. We need that. Niels Cotton go back into the role he's supposed to be doing, looking to bring players in for the first team, the women's team, etc. So that was all right from what he was saying. And you look at Patrick Stewart, he was at Man United for the best part of about 20 years, overseeing takeovers there. The guys that are in doing the background check at the moment at Rangers in terms of let's look under the car bonnet here and see what's in there. These guys that are in there, apparently the company therefore are the 49ers
They are.
Are a big client of them. Is it a coincidence? Or are we putting two and two together and come to four here?
It's not a coincidence. Come on, what would the chances of that been? There's no way. They knew fine well what they were doing.
Exactly. So, they knew what they were doing. Rangers coming out with Patrick Stewart then, and I think it's just pointing all in the right direction, Carney, for what we think is going to happen. Usually as Rangers fans, there is a bump in the road somewhere in terms of these things. We've had it before. We've had false dawns, but it feels like the real deal. It really does.
Yeah, it does. Jim Sloan, you've been a member for 30 months, mate. That you must be the
unlucky for you, Jim.
Member. I know, honestly, Jim. Why were you still here, Jim? Mate, the support's just honestly absolutely fantastic, mate. Thank you so much for that. 30 months, man, listening to us for 30 months. Honestly,
get yourself down the viceroy, Jim. We'll get you a pint.
It's like a jail sentence, isn't it? That, jeez, oh. But yeah, thanks very much, Jim. That's amazing. But no, I agree. I think you're spot on the way Rangers did it. The way the fact that the interview came out and then all of a sudden this news broke, you're like, they knew exactly what they were doing there. I think we are quite right to put two and two together and come up with four. Because for me that it's all been kind of leading to this, and now that it's kind of broken the way that it has. Broke so quickly and the way it's gathered pace, I just don't see it not happening. Look, famous last words, as I say, we could be sitting here going, oh, no, hang on, Clement is going to be manager next season and no, nobody's taking over at Rangers. But no, I don't think so now. I think we're at the point where we quite rightly can feel pretty excited about what the future may hold. Speaking of the future, the draw for the last 16 of the Europa League, Philip Clement's parting gift to Rangers will be winning Rangers the Europa League, of course. Ali Fenerbahce, which is Jose Mourinho's team. Honestly, Rangers Twitter, it was so good to have it back. Honestly, it was great. But the different gifts in that were coming out in memes of immediately just kidnapping Mourinho when he gets to Ibrox and just saying, you just stay here till the summer and we'll give you the job in the summer. But look, mate, they were both, because I obviously got, it was Olympiacos or is that my right? Olympiacos, or was it Bodo Glimt down the
Bodo Glimt.
Bodo Glimt, yeah, sorry. Bodo Glimt got Olympiacos, that's right. But yeah, they're both decent teams, mate. Fenerbahce are a pretty decent team. Obviously, Ryan Kent's previous club, which again, all of a sudden as well, Rangers Twitter was like, oh, Ryan Kent's returning this and that, whatever. You know what it's like. In terms of the draw, mate, it is what it is. I think the fact that it is the Mourinho coming to Ibrox is a bit more attractive for a lot of people. What's your thoughts on it? I'm just like, yeah, a European night against Fenerbahce at Ibrox in the last 16 Europa League. I'm looking forward to it, and knowing the team the way that I think I know this current Rangers team will probably show up for it. But no, it's an exciting tie to look forward to. It gives us something to look forward to this season on the pitch. Yeah,
out of all the ties, it was probably the one I was wanting. Bodo Glimt last night had an absolutely mental game where they scored 2 goals and after 90 minutes to go through, I think it was at that point, and then 20 scored in the 96th minute to take to extra time, and then Bodo Glimt scored in extra time to win the game. I kind of wanted to avoid Bodo Glimt. Not a very glamorous name, but they've taken scalps along the last few years, Bodo Glimt, so kind of want to avoid them. Fenerbahce, big name in Istanbul, big players that have, I don't know what age they are now, they've got Dzeko up there for them. They've got, is it Tadic plays for them, and Fred, who I think I heard Mourinho say he's suspended for the first leg. So they've got big names in their team, Fenerbahce. But I mean, we've been out, played, was it Olympiacos already this season? Got a draw out there. So just go out there. Rangers are actually all right away from home in Europe, which is bizarre saying that because domestically they're bloody awful. But just go out to, I mean, it's the way it's set up, the first leg away, it suits us. Go out there, keep the tie alive. Even Rangers come back with even if they come back with a 1-0 loss, for instance, because there's no away goals, etc. And thanks very much, Jim Sloan. Much appreciated.
What a man, Jim, honestly.
Fond of a single malt. So is our man Scotia. He loves a whiskey as well.
I'll get you. Ali will get you a whiskey. Look, I've told you a long time. Ali's minted, man. He'll buy you a bottle of single malt if you want to come to the pub.
No,
he'll pay pub prices for it as well.
No, I'm definitely not rich. No. Aye, what was I going on about there before Jim put £10 in there? Aye, Fenerbahce. Yeah, even if Rangers get beat 1-0 in the first leg, I'd still fancy Rangers to beat Fenerbahce at Ibrox. I'd fancy Rangers to beat most teams at Ibrox. That's just the way you are in terms of European teams coming there. So I think they've got a right good chance, Rangers. And like I say, this is all we've got to play for. Because Rangers made a hooring arse of it against Queen's Park, we've actually, in a roundabout way, we've got a free weekend in between the two ties, because that would have been the next round of the Scottish Cup. I would prefer to be playing in the Scottish Cup before folk start doing me in the comments for that. But because Rangers made an arse of that, they've actually got a free weekend between the two of them. So, yeah, that's all Rangers have to concentrate this season. So they might as well throw everything into it, Carney, and give it a right go. But yeah, I'm excited. It's the only thing we've got to get excited for going to Ibrox this season, and it's a European night, Europa League theme tune. So yes, I'll look forward to Haymarch's tune in a week's time.
Yeah, Bryzo77. He also mentioned about the takeover that all happened because Jim and Ali shouting God bless America. I agree, there's something in that. I do. I think we have to take credit that.
I'll take credit for it.
Yeah, you can take credit as long as if you get a box out of the new investors, mate, that we can go and sit in. I'm all for that, mate. So keep shouting "God bless America" for all I care.
Well, it came from Scott Arfield. He's the guy that started it initially.
Yeah,
He scored again for Falkirk tonight. He's scoring for fun for Falkirk at the moment, but he can get some.
You've got to love Scott Arfield, didn't you? You just got to love the guy, like you do. You've got to just love the guy. He's brilliant. He is absolutely great. Yeah, what are we talking about? Ross, the Fenerbahce draw, mate. What's your take on it? Are you excited to see the special one, as he called himself? Is it special one? I was what you called yourself on it, the special one. Coming to Ibrox, what do you make of the tie?
Yeah, it is a glamour tie, but I'm buzzing for it personally. Obviously, Mourinho's the name, and the special one, as you say, that's seen him in the dug at Ibrox would be quite something. I was looking at our squad. I named off a few players. There's players there who were strolling in the Premier League.
Sorry, Ross. Bluebell's got a point there. It's because we sold all that Manscaped stuff as well.
Yeah, by the way, there's something in that.
Telling you. We've got to take credit for this. Surely we can take credit for this. There's Justin. Justin, thank you very much. Ali, over to you, sir.
God bless America, Justin. And I can't wait for you to come over with a 49ers top on. Outstanding.
Please bring us over. Yeah, bring us over. Bring us over American stuff. Definitely bring us over some American jerseys. Sorry, Ross, you were in the middle of talking, mate. I very rudely interrupted you.
No, but not at all. That is brilliant. Thank you very much, Justin. Thank you. But I know, Fenerbahce, though, you've got players. I think it's Alan St Maximum, who used to play in the Prem. Frightening talent. So, and he's not even making it into our squad just now. So it will be a bit of a glamour tie. I'm looking forward to it. At the end of the day, I would have probably wanted Bodo Glimt. As much as I like having the bigger teams, you would look for potentially your best way into the last 8. But you've got to play these teams. These are the big teams that if you want to go all the way, then Fenerbahce need to put them to the sword. And I completely agree. At Ibrox, if we can get a decent result away at Ibrox, I fancy us every day of the week there. And the place will be absolutely rocking. So yeah, looking forward to it, mate. And Jose Mourinho, we'll keep him in the we'll find a cupboard somewhere to and give him occasionally a bit of food or something. But yeah, looking forward to it, mate, nonetheless.
Can you imagine, like, I know it's probably highly realistic that Jose Mourinho is the next Rangers manager, but can you imagine the meltdown? I mean, even the talk of this happening, the whole of Scottish football is in turmoil because of this, because how could this possibly be happening to Rangers? So I am all for it. I really am all for it. The only bad thing is that the Kerryfield Meltdown page on Twitter is no longer active, which is a bit of a shame. That is a real shame, because I'd imagine some of the comments on that would have been pretty fantastic, because all of a sudden, by the way, everybody that supports the other team in this city is a financial fair play expert and a financial expert, and it's amazing, all these talented people that have been hiding. But yeah, it's another wee kind of glint in the armour just now for us, that we go, oh well, here we go. We're going to be owned by Americans. So yes, there's a game this weekend, everybody, in case anybody hasn't realised. We are playing football tomorrow, and it is 3:00 on a Saturday, which is very welcoming, I suppose, very fitting, I think, as well. The fact that we have 3:00 on a Saturday at Ibrox. We will take on St Mirren tomorrow. The press conference today, quickly touch on it. The journalists were told not to continue to ask about the takeover. They continued to ask about the takeover. Baffling. I don't know what you expect Philip Clement to say, but I mean, you give fan media a hard time, and you've got people like that asking questions. I mean, anyway, I digress from that. And Ali Weaver gave the squad update that we are going to be missing John Stewart. He picked up an injury against Hearts and will be out for Saturday. A bit unfortunate for Suter, but it does look like it's only going to be short term, which is good news. Who else? They say was missing. Balogun's still missing. Cortez is back in training, but he'll not be involved as of yet. Danilo is back and will be included in the squad for Saturday, and obviously Casemiro, we know, will be out for the rest of the season. I don't even know why I mentioned him. We won't see him again, I wouldn't have thought. Obviously, Ali, look, Rangers are coming into this after a welcomed return to winning ways domestically, after beating Hearts 3-1. The game has took a bit of a sideshow this week. There's absolutely no doubt that there has, but it's still important that Rangers continue to win football matches. I think the feel-good factor in the club will be good right now. I think there'll be a lot of players that have maybe not been performing to the best of their ability, I may say, will quite like to be involved in something that's about to happen. Well, it looks like imminently about to happen at Rangers with this takeover. So we may see an upturn in some players. You would like to hope so anyway. That's my hope. But what's your thoughts ahead of the game tomorrow as we take on St Mirren? What are you expecting from Rangers? Apart from coming out to Star Spangled Banner instead of simply the best.
Andrew Muir.
Andrew Muirs, thank you so much. Man. Superb. Thank you so much, Andrew. That's amazing. Cheers, everybody. Genuinely.
Thanks very much. The game's a bit of a sideshow. They're glorified friendlies to the end of the season, really. They don't mean much, but they kind of do at the moment, because we play Fenerbahce in a couple of weeks' time, so we need to build some momentum going into that game. Obviously, we beat Hearts last weekend. The performance wasn't great, but we got the 3 points. I'd like to see him trying to settle on some sort of formation. I know he keeps chopping and changing stuff, but try and settle on something in terms of Fenerbahce coming up. St Mirren, I've had an all right season, but we should be beating St Mirren convincingly at Ibrox. So win the game, Rangers. If they could put a performance on that, that'd be a bonus for me. But it's a bit of a sideshow at the moment, going to Ibrox at the moment. But just win the game, Rangers. And yeah, I mean, John Stewart, unlucky for him, but again, one of umpteen players we've got that just seem to be injured quite a few times. I hope he's not out for a long time. I know he says it's a short-term one, but we'll wait to see that. Danilo's back, which is promising. How long he'll last, God knows. I'm looking forward to it. The only thing I was really looking forward to was it was 3:00 on a Saturday and we were wetting your baby's head, Carney, and we're probably going to enjoy ourselves. But there's a bit of a feel-good factor in terms of the news that is broke this weekend. So it'll be interesting. I did say it'll be interesting to see what the crowd will be on Saturday. I think the crowd might be up now because of what's happened this week.
I agree, mate. Yeah, literally, I was thinking the same thing. I thought it'd probably be busier than it would have been beforehand. It would have been before this news would have broke. So yeah, I think so. And just to pre-warn you, Ali, I will be wearing an Uncle Sam costume tomorrow, just so you know when I walk in, mate. You'll not miss me. Put it that way. You won't miss me. You'll be able to see me in a crowd. Rangers on Tour said they might be doing a ticket giveaway for the Fenerbahce game, possibly hospitality as well. Well, everybody's just seen that he's offered to give them tickets to this podcast. So Rangers on Tour, you've done that there. So I thank you for that. And hopefully that possibility becomes a reality, and we would really appreciate that. 4 tickets, hospitality, smashing. We'll be there. And Ross is a cheap date, only drinks water, so Ross is a cheap date. So yes, Ross, your thoughts ahead of the game against St Mirren? I suppose it is just all about Rangers continuing to win and hopefully seeing a bit of a performance, maybe a few upturns and a few poor players that we've seen recently, the likes of Barami's the one that probably sticks out for most. Hopefully Eggman gets himself back in the score sheet, all those kind of things. But what's your thoughts ahead of the game tomorrow?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's Mountain Dew now, mate. I need to try and get some American refreshment to better the water, so I'll stick to the Mountain Dew for just now. But no, I'm looking forward to it. And Saturday, it's very much just. I know the mood around domestic games it is flat. I was speaking to one of my mates today. The fact that we're going to Ibrox in February for a league game and it's like a friendly, it shouldn't be like that. But again, we're obviously we're kind of saying the same thing we've been saying for a few weeks. It isn't ideal, but it will be interesting, mate. There's a lot of momentum now for potentially this Rangers team. The crowd will be up for it. All of your James Sands and Malik Tillman fans, get the American flags back out and get them at Ibrox. I want to see them there on Saturday. So you'll hopefully see a wee bit of a buzz. And yeah, just if you can follow up in the pitch with a decent performance and brilliant. Kind of when we were back a few months ago, kind of getting ready for the kind of Tottenham game. One thing I was saying is that kind of try and figure out your strongest squad. Keep doing that just now. I still obviously this Europa League is all we need to play for. Keep figuring out who. I think we can kind of pick together what the squad's going to be. Can Danilo get back in there? You know, can you have somebody who? I personally, I'd still if I have Danilo in front of goal and have Dessers in front of goal, I'm backing Danilo to score it. So if we can get players in there who can hopefully make an impact against a Fenerbahce, then that's all we can ask for. But yes, very much a 3 points job, and yeah, just whatever positive results come our way, I'll happily take.
Yeah, I'm the same, mate. I think I just hope to see a bit of a performance from Rangers tomorrow. Hopefully the feel good factor is, and there could be. I mean, I don't know if there is because I know how I'm feeling and I'm going to the game. And you do have I'm more of a skip in your step than you previously did. I'm looking forward to the game more tomorrow because you get a chance to speak to different people about the takeover and that as well, which is always generates a bit of a buzz. But if I'm not walking down Edmondson Drive and it's not full of tailgating with a bunch of Americans shouting Go 49ers at me with beer hats, so you know the beer hats with the two cans in the side with the straws, that should be happening tomorrow. Rangers should be all over that. It should be just the whole of Edmonton Drive should be that. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to I'm looking forward to getting a couple of beers with the boys, to be honest, as well, and just having a chat about things. And it's just welcomed. I think it's welcome to feel like this going to a game after what we've been through this season. I know ultimately, as Ali says, it is glorified friendlies, but you would like to think there is some spring in the steps of players, and we do see a bit of a performance tomorrow. That would be very welcomed. It would be a bit of a damp squib if we go and drop points or get beat, wouldn't it? So considering the week that we've just had, but that's also very Rangers to do something like that. So on that, we'll finish up with teams and scores. Ali, what is your team prediction for tomorrow and your score prediction?
I'm going to go quite a strong team because I want to be playing a consistent team before we play Fenerbahce. I get we could play youngsters. I'd maybe bring them on in the second half, but I'd be looking to get a settled team with Fenerbahce in mind in 2 weeks' time. So Button and go, Tab at right back. Obviously, Shooter's not there, so I'd imagine Proper's going to come in Siala, Jeffy, Diamandi, Raskin, Hadji is a 10, has to play there. Igaman, Dessers and Cherny. That's my team. And 3-0 Rangers, Hadji first goal scorer.
The team's exactly the same for me, mate. I think I'm sick to the back teeth of seeing this one lone striker that doesn't work. I would much prefer to see it. I think you even seen it against Hearts, that we looked a bit. I know Hearts were going for it at the time, but once we moved to two up top, we looked like we were much more dangerous going forward than we had the entire game, in my opinion. So I would go for exactly the same team. I'm going to go for a positive 4-0 Rangers tomorrow, and I'm going to go for a Dessers hat-trick. That's how positive I'm feeling about things. D9 is going to blow everybody away, and that'll be it. But no, I'm looking forward to it. But the team for me is that should be the team. That is the team that I would go for. Ross, any difference to that team?
No, not at all. That's the exact same for me. Yeah, it's getting, make sure that we're not making the same mistakes again. Let's play the two strikers. Let's see what we're looking for. So yeah, same for me. I'm gonna go. I'll go a humble 3-0. And Robin Proper, I've put as my first goal scorer. So yes. Cheers, Robin. I look forward to that.
Yeah, and Blue Bills or Blue said I'd like to see Rice come back in. I would too. I just don't think he will. I think Diomandé's been a bit hit or miss as well for me. I've been a bit critical of him recently, and maybe too much at times. But I think I would quite like to see Rice. But as Ali mentioned, with the look towards the Europa League, I don't think he'll do that. I think he will stick with Diomandé. That'll do us for tonight. Everybody in the chat, it has been absolutely fantastic tonight. Genuinely, the banter's been great. It's very welcomed, and I'm very happy to be able to be sitting here, and I've pretty much smiled the entire way through that podcast, which is a welcomed relief. Generally, as I think you can see in all of our demeanours tonight, that this news is very welcomed, and we are all extremely excited about what the future might hold for Rangers. And yeah, it's just great news. It really is just great news. We will sell out to Americans, and I mean us as a podcast, so any American investors that want to come here, as well as the 49er Enterprises, and invest money into my podcast, I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it. I'll deck this place out like the inside of an army tank if I need to. I really don't care what it is. I'm up for that. But no, generally, it's been great tonight. Really enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed to be back, and it's nice. It's nice to feel a little bit of relief in terms of all things Rangers. This is the football club that consumes every single one of us, and when it's going bad, we feel it all. But this news, as I say, is very welcomed, and my pint will taste that little bit better tomorrow, even after the fact that we are wetting my baby's head tomorrow. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. Ali, I'll see you nice and early, mate, 'cause I think you're coming to mine for breakfast, and a cuddle my a wee cooch of the newborn, mate. So
wondered where you were going with that there.
Yeah, so did I, mate. I was like, hang on, what did I say there? I was like, you're not going into bed with my missus, so no, not doing that.
Yeah, no, I'm going to meet Carney's baby girl tomorrow for the first time.
Yeah.
So looking forward to it. Looking forward to going to the Viceroy. Apparently, Scott's got the Red Cups organised. Beer pong's there as well.
Yeah.
So I'll look
Spring break. Woo.
Squish is wearing a cowboy hat and cowboy boots. So
He will as well. I guess he will, wouldn't he?
He'd actually pull it off. I think Scott. I wonder if Scott the Viceroy actually likes American football. He's into rugby and that, so maybe he likes American football. I mean,
he claims he doesn't really like Rangers, but we all know he's lying. We all know he's lying.
I mean, American football, I know we're going on about America, but I mean, you can still stick the Super Bowl up your arse. I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
Yes, looking forward to tomorrow. A few pints and going to Ibrox as well.
Very much looking forward to it. And Ross, thank you very much, mate. Nice to see you smiling as well as the rest of us.
Yes, but yes, it's very hard not to just now. Let's just hope that we take it into the weekend with the 3 points. But yeah, this can stay for as long as it wants. Looking forward to seeing some hopefully more happy faces going into Saturday. So have a good rest of your weekend, folks, and God bless America.
Absolutely. Thank you everybody again for tuning in. Before you go, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, all the usual stuff. Ali and I will be back tomorrow with a reaction after the game. I very much hope your team wins. Again, thank you for donations and everybody getting involved in the chat. It's been brilliant tonight, and even with the change of time that we've had, it's great to see so many of you tuning in tonight, so I very much appreciate that. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. We will speak to you tomorrow after the game. We are Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. Cheers, everybody.